on YouTube post Atlanta. We're back home, recovered, and getting back at it today on this wonderful Tuesday after Atlanta. Jamie, tell the people something.
Oh my gosh. I'm just now starting to get a little bit of my voice back. Oh man. I think that was other than the three wide finish, that was probably my best experience at Atlanta. Overall, the best finish by far was the three wide finish, but uh oh man. I mean that just had stuff nonstop throughout the race from Wednesday when we set up to a tornado outside the track Wednesday night to destroying all the tents to finding which gates were open and unopened and sneaking into victory lane and hanging out with the man himself, Chase Elliott, a whole bunch of nonsense. And
We
what a
didn't ever go
freaking
past anything somebody told us not to go past.
fair enough. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we had open access because we didn't. It's not like someone said, "Hey, don't go there."
This is going to be wonderful.
What a
So,
wild
we
ride.
are going to do after our next video will be us going through and reacting to our own footage from shenanigans at the racetrack, walking you through our weekend. But today we've got quite a bit of wonderful racing to talk about. Jamie,
Yeah.
again, we will get into this weekend in just a little bit, but I literally slept through the Xfinity race. So, do you have anything to tell what's going on with the Xfinity race? Nick Sanchez, correct?
Yeah, Nick Sanchez with his first Xfinity win, I believe. Um, yeah, that was a good race too. Not a lot of big carnage like we had in the Cup race, but the same good racing. I think the Cup race and the Xfinity race swap positions. Usually, we get a lot more action and a lot more better racing with the Xfinity cars, and we're so amped up to watch the Xfinity races because the next gen car and all this dirty air and all you can't pass. And I feel like this weekend was a total flip flop. Uh, Not that the Xfinity was bad to watch, but the Cup Series was just that much better. Uh, but yeah, you were asleep. I think you slept for 17 hours. So you slept
I
for a good
had the
bit.
worst headache that night. Right about the time the pig got done, the back of my neck just tensed up. I'd fall asleep for about 30 minutes and then I'd wake up and while my head was on the pillow, it'd be like, all right, it's time to rally. Let's go get on the tower and watch this race. And then I would start to sit up and my neck would be like, nope, you're not going anywhere.
You were the
So
first person
finally
that I know of that has
I
slept
just
through an entire.
I just decided I was giving into it.
You're the first person I know of that slept through an entire Xfinity race within 50 yards of turn four.
Yeah, well, you're the only person I know of that can take a nap in the grandstands of Daytona during green flags, so we're
Everybody needs a
even
little.
there.
Everybody needs a little rest every now and then.
That's exactly right. And I feel like I'm always not that early, but I'm always good for one early night every weekend that we go to a
Mm-hmm.
race, just because when else are you going to get to sleep
The
when the
Spencer
kids
effect.
are around? All that stuff.
It's the
And
Spencer
I
effect.
am certainly glad I did because it made Sunday, or excuse me, Saturday that much more enjoyable. Being alive and alert and ready to go the entire time, well into the wee hours of the morning. I said, um, I woke up in Dawsonville this morning and the sirens were still going off, and I didn't know where I was, but I had floaties on my.
The only thing you did miss Friday night was all of the weather delays, which I think you were probably the
Mhm.
luckiest person in the vicinity of the track because it was either lightning everywhere and the spotters were running for their lives, or it was misting rain in one turn and not the other, like we were at a big super speedway. Uh, the Peach Pit party getting canceled was an absolute fraud from Echo Park. Oh my gosh, the freaking
Both
unveiling of
concerts ended up getting canceled.
Echo Park Motor Speedway, and it could have been so cool with Tim Duggar playing his music for the people who wanted to come watch and watch the cars go by on the backstretch, dare I say the small super stretch, and have video and photos of him singing with cars in the background. I feel like Echo Park dropped the ball big time on a
You're not
major,
wrong on that. I bet the
major
France
advertising
family
piece.
I bet the France family would have had something to say about that. I bet Echo Park would have been down with it.
Yeah, well, I know there was a lot of people in the infield that were fairly upset because some people wouldn't mind going to watch that instead of the race and maybe watching a little bit at the same time. But, you know, those artists come from not always close. They come from far away to play, and they want to play for their fans and for the new fans, and they didn't get to do it. And then for Echo Park to do the same thing on Saturday, do like an eight
God, I
minute
get it.
lightning delay, and then cancel the concert, cancel the introductions for people down there on the track for them to do their one on one with the matchups for the new in tournament thing. And there was some cool stuff that we would have been privy to down there on the track, and they ruined that for us too.
Yup. No doubt on that. So, just real quick story time, a little preview of what we'll get into when we
Ooh,
get with our videos. But we've got a brand new Collier's Village flag, and I'm
smoking.
drinking some brand new. Oof, golly,
Feel
blew
good?
up. Yeah, a little backfire. But drinking some brand new Red Bull. There we go. So we're sitting up on our tower. What was that?
Yeah, where'd you get that Red Bull from?
Friday evening,
Mm-hmm.
and this couple walked by, this middle-aged couple, and he had on a Junior Motorsports shirt and a WeatherTech hat.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Jamie, that's got to be Connor Zilich's dad,
There's only two cars that have that sponsor, and he did not look
right?
like he was from New Zealand.
Good eye. I mean, he could have easily just been a fan, but that's what I said, just kind of joking around about it. And about that time, Abe and Jason had struck up a conversation with him. And I heard him say, yeah, I'm Connor Zilich's father. And I about fell out. I was like, I called it. Didn't really mean it when I did, but I'll be damned. So, regardless, we ended up having a good time with him. And he brought us back a whole case of sugar free Red Bull.
Unfortunately, he's a Gators fan.
Yeah, we did find that out. They both graduates of UF, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
And then this awesome Connor Zillich flag
So sexy.
with his Blues Hog logo that he ran in the Xfinity series, coming in what, fourth?
Yeah,
Fourth
did mighty
place.
well. Mighty well, I might add.
Absolutely. Ran pretty well on Saturday as well. I was pumped to see that. Rooting for him all day for sure. But that was something else. Getting to meet him. They were really good folks. And I mean, he came back by camp twice to throw something our way, whether it was the cool flag or the Red Bull. Always had some swag to bear. That was pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we had I think we had the setup with the most flags. We probably had 8 flags up top. We had our 10-foot Old Glory United States flag, and then we had a Hocevar flag, a Christopher Bell flag, a Chastain flag. We had a lot of flags, and he just walks by and says, "Hey, I think it's about time you guys had a proper flag and toss that bad boy up there."
I didn't know what he was talking about at that point or what was in the bag.
You thought it was a shirt.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he just tossed his shirt up. Because in my head, I was like, yeah, well, we will. We'll have to get a Connor Zillich flag now. I was like, oh, crap, it's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty awesome.
And you took it from the campsite.
Yeah, I did. It was still stuck to the tent. That was my excuse. I was really
Oh
waiting
man.
on somebody to see me folded up in there, but
Yeah,
nobody
that was
did.
that was a super cool surprise highlight of the trip. There were really cool people.
Absolutely, they were. Well, man, let's get into the race. Atlanta is something else, is it not?
Atlanta is in a league of its own, and it is leading the field in tracks that people need to frickin' be at.
100% from the experience, the fan experience to the racing. The racing is absolutely phenomenal right now. Like, I know Daytona is your ride or die, but I mean, everybody's saying that this is what Daytona and Talladega want to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's my ride or die anymore. I mean, you can feel the difference between Daytona and anything else is if you go to Daytona for the 500, which I have been many times, you can feel it's palpable in the air, the tradition. of that race. It's always in the heat of the day, around noon, 1 o'clock at race time. So if you're down there on the lawn trying to get in the front row for the stage, and see those drivers walk out on the stars and stripes, um, big ramp to introduce the drivers on. You're gonna sit there for 5 to 6 hours. You got to get there like 8, 9 in the morning as soon as they open it up, and the tradition is palpable, and that's what makes that race so special. But Atlanta is a hybrid, because at Daytona and Talladega, you can get around there without a good handling car.
Mhm.
And you can Denny Hamlin said it on Actions Detrimental, was that, he didn't have the handling in his car from the beginning, and he was never near the front.
Yup.
In Atlanta, you got to have good handling, and you'll see better race cars at the front at Atlanta. Whereas in Daytona and Talladega, you might have a Cody Ware or a BJ McLeod, make their way up to the front because it's simple aero.
No doubt. So let's go through the race. The Penske's showed up fast as they always do to the super speedways.
For sure.
And I mean, I think that's just they're going to sacrifice a little um control to begin the race, a little handling at the start of the race just to be up front, which is really smart because they led the whole first stage at least up until the weather. So we went green. And at lap 37, that's when we got the caution for weather out in turn 1 and 2. It eventually made its way over, but again, that permeable asphalt, we got to get video on that for later. Um, Dried it up real quick. Well, they had to go around one time with the dryers, and that was really about it.
Well, let's
Let's
don't
see.
don't forget to mention that it was Ford qualified first through
Right. Hey,
eighth.
hold on. My computer's about to die. I gotta go get a charger or my
First
change
through
my mic.
eighth for the
Talk
Fords.
to him. I'll be back.
The Fords just continue to show up at these super speedways and the hybrid speedways, because Atlanta's in a class of its own. Oh man, yeah, the weather delay, short, sweet. There's a cool little interview with Joey Logano that Dale Jr. and the guys in the NASCAR on TNT booth did with him. That was pretty cool. Uh, he made a little joke in the car that he was looking like Vanna White. They were displaying all the Dale Earnhardt Jr. gloves that he made so famous with the skeleton gloves, and all of the drivers wore those pairs of gloves. I think in both races. So I think they have 70 sets that they're actually auctioning off on the Pristine Auction website for the Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Dale and Amy Foundation, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Joey was showing those gloves off, talking about the handling of his car a little bit and the speed. And then the weather delay was not very long. I think we got off the tower for maybe 10, 15 minutes, and they never covered the cars up or anything like that. Um, but man, it was crazy. What we're gonna show you guys, not on this episode. I think he's gonna do a little segue into it, but we got several videos of our
Yeah, we
debauchery
do.
of running onto the track after the race, um, getting our annual group photo at turn 3 near the number 3, uh, to then seeing the universal sign that is to get the hell off the racetrack, and that is
That's
police
right.
light. Um, when you see the
Well,
police
it
lights
wasn't.
come,
Was it police lights or security lights?
no, those were the police lights coming the
Oh,
opposite way around turn 4. And when you see those, as our
turn the
turn
wrong
3
about.
cup buddy Jason would say, that there's the universal sign to get the hell out. So we did.
And it was. He was real cool about it too. He's like, "All right, I'm here. Time to move on."
Oh yeah, especially when I lost my phone and had to actually climb back through the gate after they locked it.
Yes.
And we were like, "Oh, look up there, right next to the wall in turn 3. I think I see something." And there goes my barefooted self climbing up the track, and here comes the guy. He's like,
Got
"You
back
can't
to
be
it.
here." And I was like, "Look,
We've
brother, I
already
think
been
my
through
phone's
this,
right up
dude.
there. Can I run up the turn there?" And he's like, "Go ahead." And he watched my barefooted country butt run up the track, and
Wow.
he kind of just wished me well and put me on my way. But he was a good
Of
fella.
course. All right, I had to change wires. Is my microphone still coming through? We're good.
Yeah, microphone's good. Good
Oh,
enough to talk about how bad Trackside Live was with their lineup, dude.
oh my God, I know. Now, yeah, that sucked, but having Kenny and Kyle Petty sitting there answering questions together, that was perfect.
Kenny and Kyle make Trackside Live.
Absolutely.
They need to be on Trackside Live together every time. Kyle's a freaking riot. Kenny's a nut job. And we all love him. Um, but yeah, having Chase Briscoe be the headliner driver, he ain't that. He just isn't. You know, we need a Denny Hamlin up there. We need a Kyle Busch. We need people. We need to pack that Trackside Live out, especially at Atlanta, man.
Right? Because Kenny doesn't make it to about 7 races a year.
All I know is if I'm going to stand in a pile of puke to be at the stage at Trackside Live,
Jeez.
there needs to be a damn good driver up there. And it
Jeez.
wasn't my puke either.
No, it was not. A pink smoothie puke. And then, just that the champ that just came and stood there in her sandals after being warned about the puke. And just to see the wrestling stars of, I don't even remember what series it was. I'd never heard of the series. What was the wrestling series?
What was the what?
The wrestling series, AWE, something like that.
AEW or AWE? I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Yep. So she was only there for that. So she stuck her sandals in puke. I mean, fresh puke too. Like had to have been squelching over the sides of the sandals just to stand there. Didn't even ask a question. Like you'd have think there'd at least be a truth, I love you, or something like that. But no, just to stand there and gawk for 5 minutes,
In the puke.
standing in like the most disgusting, like elementary school looking strawberry milk puke.
It's almost as bad as this sunburn.
Yep, that's the color right there. That's the puke color. Maybe a little darker.
That's that is finally feeling better.
Well,
By the
thank
way,
God.
but the three is looking fresh. Look at that three right there.
Do it for Earl. Ladies and gentlemen, show him one more time. For
If
the
you
keen
haven't
eyed out
noticed,
there, the three on his hat and the three on his chest do not look the same. They may look the same, but they are not.
it was put on backwards.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I present Earl Delhart.
it was that was the running joke for the week, and the fact that hundreds of people would either come up to me and say, "Hey, why is that backwards? Did you know that was backwards?" Or the people that would just ride by in the golf carts and you can see their lips and read their lips go, and I just
You
have to
made that
look at them and
RFK boy's day.
I know it's backwards. Leave me alone. And then people would suggest that I fix it. And if I did that, then the tan line wouldn't be what it is now for the next 3 months.
Yeah, it wouldn't be wrong.
So it's just going to be the weekend of, the Carnage Major Wreck and the weekend of Earl Dalehart.
Earl Delhart. Boy, that was fun. Yeah, and we got to see Carson Hocevar got to see Earl Delhart's old backward three. That was a fun time. We're just standing around Tuesday morning, eating a little bit of the pig for breakfast, and a gentleman rolls up on a golf cart, and I look back over, and Corey LaJoy's right there, hanging out in our camp, and
Yeah.
that was a cool time.
Yeah. It was good to have
Good
Corey, the
people.
old Stacking Pennies guy, come stop by. He saw our seven flag, or his media person saw our seven flag the day before and said he'd come by. He was a little busy that evening, but he made sure to stop by the next day, which is really cool of them because we know those drivers are busy, especially on race day, which it was. And yeah, made a little video for my daughter, and she loved that. Signed the flag. We talked a little bit about how badass Prime was for the sport of NASCAR, and talked a bit about the Buffalo Bills and Fitzpatrick and what a freaking unit he is. And Uh, yeah, talked about how much of a sham we thought it was that they put Justin Haley in the 7 car, and he was like, "Dude, I don't care. I'm still making
Good,
race
great
car money.
answer.
I'm getting that prime money. We got it rolling still. We're fine."
We are loving life. But yeah, that was a great time. And then signing the tops of the hats.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was wonderful. He grabbed it. He looked at the bill. He said, "No, we ain't signing there." But again, put some time into the signature. Really put some time into hanging out. I mean, that's what was fun to see. There was definitely a clear lane to clear out at one point if he had wanted to, and he just kind of sat back in the cart. What's up, boys?
yeah. He
We
endured
got
the
to hang
heat a
out
little
for
bit.
5-10 minutes. That was awesome.
Endured the heat just to hang out and kick it with the boys, and take a picture of Earl Dale Hearts 3. And I have a strong feeling that's going to be put on Stacking Pennies, and he's going to have something real dumb to say. I'm excited.
I can't wait. I hope word
So
gets back to
let's talk about the
Dale.
race.
All right, so like we said, Penske's took it to the green flag. Yummy. Penske's took it to the green flag, and then we went 37 laps, and the weather came out and affected things. Had a brief rain delay. It really wasn't that bad at all. I think it only
No,
took the dryers going around one time to get
no, it
that
felt
place
like
ready to roll.
15 minutes. Nothing crazy.
Right. And then they kind of battled to the end of the first stage. Let's see, who won the first stage? Brad Kay, right? No, Austin Cindric won the first stage, followed by Brad Keselowski,
I think
Joey Logano, William Byron, and Carson Hocebar. About how we might expect that stage to go.
Cindric
A lot of
shows
people
up.
just hanging out. But at that point, we had, see, we went back green flag racing for 7 laps, it looks like. Before we had the first wreck of the day. And then, let's see. Where was the big one?
Well, Christopher Bell was the first wreck,
Right.
and then we had the big one where Denny got turned, and that pushed, I think, Justin Haley down onto the apron, and he came straight back up sideways in front of everybody, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Seabell gets tapped on running near eighth and slowly spins. That's exactly what it was.
Yep.
He and Larson just both kind of in sync. David Starr feed pass. That was a regular thing. Can we talk real quickly about, like, I mean, I know Junior talked about this the other day, but there's no way that was minimum speed. No
David
chance.
Starr.
Yes.
Well, it had to if they let him out there.
Minimum speed is like a lot. It's
I don't
like,
think it's a lot. I think it's like 130, 140.
yeah, we'll see.
Doesn't sound like a
I'll do
lot.
the math on that later.
I'll look it up.
Let's see. So into stage one, then we get the leaders stay out. So Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, Justin Haley, Ty Gibbs, Nemechek, Reddick. Oh, I'm sorry. All lead cars except, yeah, I was right. Pitt. And then on the restart, that's when we had the big one. And we just piled the field up coming into turn three. Yeah, what can we say about that wreck? We had a great view for it.
I mean, yeah, the views for Bell's turn, as well as the 34 spin out off of 4, and the major pileup carnage was right in between 3 and 4. A mere couple hundred yards from our sight vision in the tower, and it was freaking phenomenal. That's what
It
you want
really
to see.
was.
That's what I want to see.
That's what we paid. That's why we paid for those spots.
I mean, I like good racing, but I also like to see a massive freaking pileup and it breaking 100% of the NASCAR brackets. Boy, did they luck out on saving a
All
million
of them.
bucks.
Oh yeah. They were never in any real danger of paying that one out, anyways. Good lord.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so I mean that took out a lot of the field. I think there were maybe 20 cars on the track after that.
Yeah, 20, 22 cars. I think it took out 18 or 19 of them for
And I
sure.
think by the end, I heard there were only like 5 or 6 cars that had gone completely clean the entire race. That's
Yeah,
wild.
I think the biggest story from that wreck is Carson Hocevar being in it, but still being like a huge contender afterwards. We were just
Yeah,
like, every lap he came around, he was better and better, and we were just yelling, "Ride the Dente!"
he was on a rocket ship all night long.
Yeah.
There was several really fast cars that got caught up there. William Byron's another one.
Mm-hmm.
William Byron looked like he could do what he wanted to all night. He
Yep.
looked as fast as Chase Elliott. I thought I would have loved to see them race it out at the end.
Yep. I think Tyler Reddick was he in that also?
Yeah, no,
Did
no, 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 no. He
no?
was still around because once they go back green, he and Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick fought it out for most of the rest of the stage
Yeah, he was
and
another car
finished
that was
like
pretty much with the whole
virtually
field.
tied coming across the line for the stage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Which that'd have been big for Chase because we thought Chase ended up like he never gave up the lead. Like when they came around for under yellow, he was still leading the race for the next like 3 laps. I
Mm-hmm.
guess he must have given it up before they went to pit lane. But I mean, like we thought he'd won the stage.
Right, and that point matters.
Yeah, it does. That point matters a lot. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
difference between him being in like ninth in the playoffs right now or being like fifth or sixth.
Yep.
He'll get them though because you get um, for regular season standings, you get a bunch of points at the end. I think first is worth like 10 points, 20 points, something like that. It's a lot for winning the regular season championship. I think that's their focus going forward. But regardless, we come to the end of stage two. We get solid pit stops, and I mean, we screened the entire last stage. It was
Yep.
absolutely nuts. What
And
was
the
the
boom.
what was the final time they kind of breathed?
Final what?
The final caution was at lap 230, and Chase Elliott stayed out. So he ran all the way to the end on old tires. And have you gone back and watched? So they've got the last 10 laps
Yep.
on NASCAR's YouTube. I mean, he was 8 spots back with 10 laps to go. But I mean, he could just hook it onto that yellow line
Mm-hmm.
and ride as hard, like harder into the corner than anybody else could that low.
Right.
And it felt like he didn't have to let up on exit either. He was just as strong off exit that low. And at one point, with 2 to go, I think he just yard sale. I think he took like 3 people down. I
Yeah.
think he went from like fifth to second at that point. And when you saw him hooked up with Bowman, there wasn't much question about what was about to happen.
Well, I feel like if Bowman had help, I feel like it would have been a three-horse race between
Yeah.
Chase, Keselowski, and Bowman because I feel like it was Keselowski's race to lose.
Yeah, which is wild to think about because I don't know, it just is after the year he's had. Like I guess you knew it was going to be at Atlanta or Daytona, maybe Dega. And I mean, Brad Kay's a good racer. If they put the
Yeah,
right
he's a
car
good
together
super
one year,
super speedway guy, and he was up front the whole time.
right?
If he wasn't
Absolutely,
in first, he was right there in the top five somewhere, other than after pit stop cycles. But he came right back, um, and I would have loved to have him win.
absolutely. So then you got Bowman pushes him down the front stretch, coming to the white flag, pushes Chase. Chase has a huge run going into turn one, dives it down under Brad Kay. I mean, again, just seems to be hooked to that line with all the speed in the world. Comes out of turn two well ahead. Alex Bowman swings it way to the inside, coming down the backstretch, just to be sure there's not a chance
Mm-hmm.
of giving Brad any type of push
Yep.
whatsoever. Which, I mean, by the time they got into turn three, it's a done deal. The nine's taking it. And he
Yeah.
comes down victory lane and does it again in Atlanta for the second time since 2022, I believe he did it.
I'll never forget what the stands looked like since we were straight across from them as he came off turn 4. The amount of people that were just losing their shit was unreal. We were some of them.
Right?
Um,
I
and
couldn't see
and
straight. I was shaking so hard. Chase!
a point that I want to talk about just a little bit is if you watch the last 5 laps from Brad Keselowski's in-car camera, you can hear his spotter communication to him. And what I love the most about Brad is he's such a veteran, smart driver. He never does anything stupid anymore. I think he got out of that with him in the Carl Edwards business a while back.
Yup.
But you
Yup.
can hear his spotter telling him that they have a big run coming. And right after they cross the checkered flag, Brad fights back for a solid second place finish. He said, "Man, their run was just too strong. I couldn't block it."
Yup.
Carson Hocevar, if he was in that spot, he just would have blocked it. And then
Yup.
they would have had absolute chaos. But because Brad's such a veteran driver,
He wouldn't
he
have made it out of Atlanta if he wrecked Chase Elliott
well, he,
coming
he
to a
wouldn't have
win.
cared. But Brad's sense of awareness, just to know that their speed differential was either A, I block him, we all wreck, or B, you know, I just get past.
They'd have his head hung in the pool hall of Dawsonville if he wrecked him coming to the line like that, or
Put
coming to the
that thing
white.
right up there by the siren.
Yep. The only saving grace would have been probably that Chase still would have been ahead of him when the caution came out.
Yeah, I like that veteran move by Brad, not to wreck
Absolutely.
everybody when he had the chance.
Absolutely. And I mean, he knew it. He didn't have any help. It'd have been fun to see what it'd have been like if one other Ford was around.
Yep, yep, that's right.
I mean, it'd have to, it'd honestly have to be an RFK or front row Ford because if it was a Penske driver, they'd have played it selfish.
Yep, 100%. And then all was right in the NASCAR world when the 9 took the checkered flag and took
That's
it to victory
exactly.
lane. It feels like everything's right in the NASCAR world.
It absolutely does. Like, there's wonderful racing going on. We're not complaining about the car right now. We're not complaining about NASCAR at the moment. Atlanta makes everything feel better. Um, it was packed stands. I don't know what the viewership will be, but I imagine it's pretty good. People are getting the word about how good of a track Atlanta is. Like,
Yep,
if you want to see the quintessential NASCAR race right now in this Gen 7 car, you need to look at Atlanta because that's what it is.
yep.
And
And I like Ryan Blaney did a hot take on Atlanta. Uh, he said he'd like to see 2 inches of the spoiler be cut off because he said ultimately what that will do is break this one big pack up into packs of 8 or 9. And then you'll have different packs catching other packs, sort of like a glorified version of the tandem racing we used to have
I was about to
in
say,
2010, 2012, which was really cool to see. But he said, cutting 2 inches off the spoiler off would just make it to where there's multiple packs, which is that'd be. I feel like that would be super cool, also.
have you seen the video where like it's clearly him, but you can't see that it's his mouth moving? And he's like, "You can call it EcoPark Speedway all you want to, but it'll always be Atlanta Motor Speedway."
No,
And then
I
he
didn't know
like
he did
looks
that
back like, "Who said that?"
I like Blaney.
Oh,
He's a
I
cool
like
cat.
Blaney. Like, he's my favorite.
He's
Like,
a
I don't
cool
like
cat.
Penske, but if I got to
Man,
pick a driver from Penske,
if there's
I will
anybody
take
that
that for
bitches
sure.
inside of a race car, it's Ryan Blaney.
Yup. All right, so now we go to Chicago. Probably the last year of the street race. I hope they get good weather.
Yeah, not racing in a foot of water. That'd be great.
Goodness gracious, these the Red Bull is just making me burp. It's freaking gross. All right, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think the drivers are probably looking forward to it. I know Denny said, going up there for the last time. He's going up a little bit early to do some shopping, some stuff like that. It is a cool place. They get to stay in hotels. They're right across from the track. Definitely a change of pace from what we normally have on a race weekend.
Oh yeah.
We have yeah, two road courses in a row coming up. Uh, Streets of Chicago, and then ooh, that was a bad noise, and then Sonoma.
Wine country.
Absolutely love both of those. And then I mean, I'm looking forward. I think San Diego street race in San Diego seems more and more probable for next year. I think that would be a cool one as well. What do you think? Buying or selling? It's not adding another street course, but
I don't like anything about California. I wouldn't mind if that whole state broke off the fault line and just went into the ocean, but that's
dang,
just me.
don't tell Kevin Harvick.
I hate that guy anyway. That guy's a big piece of shit.
He said he can go with him.
Yeah, that guy.
Golly, no, I would,
Kevin,
I would, I would definitely be up for watching one street race a year that gets moved around. I mean, like eventually it could go to another country, have that be what you do.
yeah.
But I
Well,
don't know.
they they can do that, but if they do that, I want them to make Atlanta, excuse me, Echo Park Speedway, make it what everybody wants it to be. We want to pull into that track on Wednesday. We want cars on the track on Thursday. We want
Mhm.
we want ARCA racing Thursday night. We want the trucks on Friday. We want Xfinity on Saturday, and God bless it, give us a cup race on Sunday.
Yup.
That track deserves it.
So I think we should almost be bookending the season right now. I think we should retain our right after Daytona spot, and again do that like Speed Weeks. Give us cars all week long. Give us practice back. Come on now. We'll get into that later. But for real, have cars out on the track all week long, and then bring them back in November for the championship.
They would
It's
hate that
where it
so much.
belongs. It's where it
They
needs to be.
the drivers would hate that so
Oh
much.
my God, they would. But okay, it's also better than Phoenix.
Oh, I think Atlanta's better than anything else.
Right, but even as far as raceability goes and yeah, theoretically trying to ensure that the best driver is going to be the driver that wins, I still think it's better than Phoenix. In Phoenix, you just know a Penske is going to have the right setup, that they've got the magic in the cards, and it's going to be one of those drivers. Like, for
Here's
anybody other
here's
than a Penske to win, something's going to have to happen.
here's my hot take about Atlanta. And NASCAR is an entertainment business. Their job is to entertain its fans. If they don't, then they don't have any fans. The fans want entertainment, and that's what Atlanta gives us. Period.
You're not wrong. I mean,
Give us
hell,
the
the last
entertainment.
lead change was on the last lap. Like that's amazing.
5 out of 6 going into that race. Now it's 6 out of 7.
Yup,
Give the people what they want.
it's a great track. I love it. It's a handling speedway, is what it is. And I mean, it's
Yep.
like Kenny said, there's nothing like it. There's not another track out there like it right now.
Hmm.
They don't need to Atlantify another one. It just is what it is.
Yep.
It is an absolutely great one.
And I think Chase won at the right time because they were dogging his ass on the trackside live stage. They were like, Chase who? I hadn't seen Chase Elliott in years. He was like, "Hold my beer, boys.
Yep,
Me and my dog gonna show you something."
we'll get it done right now. You're
So
gonna
should
hear
we
that
tell them?
siren at the pool hall tonight.
Should we tell the people about our post race antics into the the victory lane and give them a little bit of details on the videos that are going to be to come? Because we
Give them
did
just
video.
a brief little synopsis, a little heads up of what's coming their way.
I mean, we did. So after the race, I don't even know why we went there. I think I would guess it's because I said, "Hey Spencer, I think we could probably just go check this out and get somewhere."
Yeah.
And we ended up going through a gate. There was no security there, so we continued to go where it seemed like we could walk. And then through the
Another
next gate
gate.
was no security there to tell us we couldn't be there, so we assumed we could go there. And we were 20 feet from Victory Lane. Uh,
The
yeah,
only time we got told that we shouldn't be there was like an old lady just sitting in victory lane.
when I opened the gate and walked through there and decided to go sit down while Chase was taking his picture, she said a few words, but that's where we'll leave that, and you
And then
guys
as
can.
soon as she did, we left. Like,
Yeah, we didn't cause no problems.
no,
Um,
absolutely not.
but the videos
We
are
didn't go anywhere we didn't know we weren't allowed to be.
there's no other videos like the ones we took at that track, and my gosh, they're gonna be wildly entertaining.
Yeah, I just hope we haven't ruined our chances at a legit press pass once the Rattlin Cages blows up.
That chance is probably gone.
Oh, it was worth it though. Absolutely wonderful. Well, all right, brother. You got anything to add? If not, we'll be back. What, you want to come back tomorrow? We can. I mean, we can talk about when we film it, but you think we can get it posted by tomorrow with all our antics? Let's
um,
call it Thursday. Say
yeah,
by
Thursday.
Thursday. Be
That'll
looking
give you
for a
some time to
video.
go through those videos and maybe cut out some stuff we don't need to be showing, and keep the verbiage on YouTube appropriate. Um,
Allegedly.
allegedly, and yeah, give you some time to do that. Give me some time to get my work done, and yeah, we'll come back and see y'all on Thursday.
Absolutely. Well, boys and girls, it's been a great time. It's good to be back. I'm Spencer. This is Jamie. If we didn't rattle your cage, we'll try harder next time. Y'all take it
Come on.
easy.